Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio, episode 137. I am your friend, hopefully, April Perry, and today we're talking about 8 decluttering insights that rocked my world in 2001. So this is more than 20 years ago, but these insights I'm going to share, mainly that I learned from a book called It's Here Somewhere, still one of my favorites. You can find it on Amazon, and I'll have it linked on the show notes page. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to share with you some things that have really changed my life and helped me to get organized and helped me to feel relief and to feel a sense of calm and to feel excited just about moving forward. If that's what you want and you're thinking, I want to have clear space and I want to have a calm mind and I want my home to feel clutter-free and awesome, then I hope you enjoy what I'll be sharing today. And really, I just can't say enough about this awesome book that helped me to open my eyes. Just as a brief background, I grew up in an amazing home with amazing parents, but we had so much clutter. I had no idea what to do with clutter. I shoved things in my drawers. Cleaning my room literally meant maybe pick up trash, put clothes in the laundry, and then shove everything else under my bed. I didn't know how to get rid of things. I had no idea where a donation pile even was or if we had one. I didn't know. I had no comprehension of how to simplify and organize and to have a clean room. It never occurred to me. I never knew how to clean. Mostly, I think, because my mom was raised in a home where she had to do a lot of cleaning and she wanted to free us from that, so she didn't put the pressure on us. But then it was also a lot of work. We had a big family, and as she was older when she had me, so I think she was a little bit tired as I got, old enough to make messes. So we just kind of didn't clean. We had a great relationship and a lot of love, but we just really didn't clean, and we definitely didn't declutter. So I'm just going to share a little bit of my story about why I care so much about it and why I think it's going to make a difference for you. So back in 2001, Eric and I had taken our first baby, Aaliyah, who was just a year old, to visit his family, my in-laws. And my mother-in-law, Peggy, had this book that her friend Claudia gave her called It's Here Somewhere. And I said, hey, could I borrow this about decluttering? And I'd never even heard of it. I didn't know. And she said, sure. So I started reading it while we were, on vacation. And I couldn't put it down. It was like a whole world had opened to me. And as I read it, I thought, could I actually do this to our apartment? All these drawers that were stuffed and piles of things in our bedroom and just stuffed closets and storage closets and just this overwhelm. I felt a lot of overwhelm. And my mind just opened to this idea that I could have a clear, organized, beautiful apartment that didn't overwhelm me, and I couldn't wait to get home, to be honest. Eric had some work he was doing, and I remember sitting in the corner of this office just pouring through this book, like a mad woman, a woman on a mission, thinking, I'm going to do this as soon as I get home. So once we got home, I did. I went cupboard by cupboard, room by room. I followed what I learned in that book. And we had this little 1989 Toyota Camry that barely worked. And I loaded that car full. The whole car was full of things to donate. We had a dumpster right outside our little apartment, and I put so much in the dumpster that was trash we'd moved around with us. And by the time I finished, I remember walking around my house, and I would just walk around just to look at it because I was so amazed. I was, I think in my early 20s at the time. I had never had that feeling of walking around a home or an apartment of my own and not feeling like, oh, I've got all this stuff. I didn't feel weighed down. I felt so light. And that was the beginning of my desire to not just help other people get out of clutter, but then to help people organize their minds and be able to really do the things that matters most. So it was about 6 years later that I read David Allen's book, Getting Things Done. And then I learned, oh my goodness, not only can my space be calm, but my mind can be calm. And I don't have to be overwhelmed ever. And then I started learning about how to really work with my emotions and how to work with my brain. And then I thought, oh, wow, I can feel happy and fulfilled and goal-oriented and keep my family as my priority and be able to balance things in life that I didn't know I could ever do, and have that closeness with God I didn't know I could have. So anyway, I hope you're on the edge of your seats at this point, but I'm just going to go through now and share what was it that was in that book that made me so excited. So this morning I actually sat down because in our Arise membership, if you're not in Arise, you can check it out at learndobecome.com/arise. This month we're talking about fun with decluttering, and everyone's going to pick one room and we're going to be reporting back. We're going to be sharing pictures. We're going to be talking about the process. We're going to be sharing little tips and ideas, and we're going to coach each other through getting one room totally clear, decluttered, streamlined, organized, feeling awesome. And as I was preparing for that, I thought, well, I don't want to just dive into the cleaning and the organizing. I want to step back and let's talk about a little bit more mindset work. And let's talk about some insights and some things that might be helpful as we prepare for this. Because if you're not prepared emotionally and mentally, then sometimes you get stuck. And so I want to help people not get stuck. So for you, my Arisers who are listening, check your email and come in the Arise Facebook group, and we'll keep you up to date. And for those of you who are not yet in Arise, we have a 7-day free trial. So you can come in and check it out and be part of this with us if you want. And I hope you'll stay. It's really fun. All right, let's dive into the 8 decluttering insights. As I opened the book this morning in preparation for this Arise, month of decluttering, I wanted to read through the introduction and the opening pages because I knew that's where the fire, ignited for me. Most of the book goes room by room and shows you, here's how to organize a kitchen and a master bedroom and a closet and, a garage. And they just go room by room by room and they give you examples and they show you. So the book is awesome, totally worth getting. It's out of print right now, but Amazon has used copies you can buy. It's really good, very worth it. It's different than Marie Kondo's book, where she focuses more on things like, first we're going to do books and then we're going to do clothes or whatever. She has it kind of organized. This one goes room by room, but the simplification, the principles are similar. So you don't have to get this book, but I think it's really good. So as I'm reading through it, I just literally went through the first 8 pages, and then I took notes on what it was that, what sparked my interest and my love and my desire as I read those 8 pages. So first was a quote from the introduction. This is on page 1. And they said, "We're by no means planning to suggest to you anywhere in this book that you divest yourself of your belongings, not the ones that matter anyway. What we do suggest is that you simplify, then organize your entire home. It's not enough to shuffle things around from this shelf to that drawer. Getting rid of the overload is what makes the difference." So after reading that, insight number 1 and 2 came from that. Insight number 1, decluttering isn't getting rid of my treasures. It's clarifying what my treasures are. Okay, light bulb moment for you too. If you're getting nervous when you think about decluttering because you're feeling all this love and emotion for your stuff, you don't love everything. You might have some emotional attachment, or you might have feelings or guilt or frustration about a lot of things, but you don't have a love for everything. Not everything is a treasure. So that was number 1. That was helpful. We're going to help you clarify what your treasures are. And insight number 2 was, it's possible to go through my entire home and create clear, beautiful, calm space, totally getting rid of the overload. Once I could see that what I could do for one drawer could be replicated through my entire apartment, that possibility, that gave me the ability to breathe, and it gave me a vision, and it gave me a focus. There's another quote from page 2 that says, "The key to this not so mysterious process of organization is to evaluate everything you own. Does it deserve to share your living space?" So insight number 3 for me was, not everything deserves to share my living space. That actually kind of made me react quite viscerally, mainly because up to that point, I felt like I did have some kind of obligation that anything that was currently in my living space had to stay there, and I just had to learn how to work around it. And you might not be that kind of person, but I was. And you know what? Now, just as I said that, I realized it wasn't just about the physical stuff. It was a belief I think I'd picked up throughout my growing up years, going to school, dealing with maybe some difficult personalities throughout my life. I had this belief that if there's something difficult in your life and you don't want it to share your living space, well, too bad. You just kind of have to deal with it. Now, in some cases, like if you have a difficult family member, you're not just going to, like I couldn't leave the house when I was 7. And to be honest, I didn't really have difficult family members. But there were maybe friends in my class at school or people who weren't really friends in my class at school, and I had to go to school with them every day. Or maybe there was, someone in the neighborhood that I really didn't want to ever pass their house, but I couldn't move. As a child, you feel like, well, you kind of have to get what you get. You don't throw a fit, that type of thing. But what I've learned throughout my life, especially over the last 20 years, is that there are some things that we can't change, but establishing boundaries and deciding what really deserves to be in your living space, whether that's your bedroom or your home or your social circle or your brain, that's your decision. And as you make these decisions carefully, and I believe as I align with God, as I make those decisions, my life just continues to feel happier and happier and happier because I'm not just living with the stuff that weighs me down. Whether those are limiting beliefs, whether that's trying to take ownership or control for something I can't control or I don't own, right? Those types of things. Okay, page 5 has another quote. It says, "We believe in clear surfaces rather than organized surfaces. We say, get rid of everything you don't like, use, need, want, or have room for. What's left will be quality keepers and lots of empty space." So I'll explain briefly how I did this in my bathroom, for example. As I was growing up, under our bathroom sink, it was always just stuffed full. So much stuff. We shoved everything into it. There was lotion containers from 8 years ago and random cleaning supplies, maybe. We didn't really have a lot of cleaning supplies, maybe. It was just junk. I don't even know what it was, but literally I would open the cupboard. We never even used the cupboards. It was just stuffed full of things. And when I learned, okay, wait, hang on, I can actually clear that out and get rid of everything that I don't like, use, need, want, or have room for. I went through, I emptied out the whole thing. I got rid of everything that I didn't actually use and just put back the stuff I really used and wanted. And then I had so much empty space. I used to think, oh, I need to get a bunch of stacking bins, or I need a bigger cabinet, or I need an extra cabinet, or I need something. Really, the stuff I used could fit very easily in the space that we had. So I love that concept of quality keepers and lots of empty space. My insight number 4 is clear space feels scary at first because you're not used to it. But it opens my brain, it eases the overwhelm, and it puts me into creation mode instead of reactive mode. That's been a huge part of it. Like I was saying, once I cleaned and decluttered and organized my whole apartment, it was just a little 2-bedroom apartment, just us and our baby, nothing fancy. But when I did that and I kept walking around just looking at the clear space, I'd never had that feeling. And at first it feels a little scary because you're used to spending your time spinning, moving things in circles, sorting through piles, trying to find things, feeling overwhelmed. That maybe was taking up 40% of my time. I mean, that's conservative. If you ask yourself right now, how much time do you spend feeling overwhelmed, looking for things, feeling frustrated, moving things around? I'm guessing there's a lot of time, or avoiding those things. Guessing there's a lot of time that you're spending doing that. If that's where you are. Maybe you're not, but that's where I was. And when you first experience all this new time and all this new space, it's kind of weird. And you think, oh, I should fill it up. Let me clutter it up again because that's my norm. you just leave it clear and you let that become your norm, oh my gosh, it feels so good. I have full empty drawers and full empty bookshelves in my house. And like I just moved some books downstairs. I got a new bookcase and the whole top shelf and a half is empty. Nothing's in it at all. But I'm like, well, I have room that if I get more books I like in the future, I have room for it, but I don't have to stuff it. It's okay. That feels so good. It's a different thing. And you've got to have the confidence that you're making a decision that's healthy for you, but it feels so good. Okay, and then my insight number 5 that goes along with that was I don't have a moral obligation to keep anything I don't like, use, need, want, or have room for. I get to curate my space, every part of it, and that is a beautiful gift. I know I kind of referred to this concept before, but I'm going to put all these insights in a written format on the show notes page, and I felt like that deserved its own. There is not a moral obligation. People who you love may give you things, and they may be beautiful, and they may be expensive, but if they're not a treasure to you, you do not have an obligation to keep them. Or just because someone thinks you ought to keep them, or recommends that they be in your life, or you saw 15,000 commercials advertising that thing, or that shirt looked really good on the model at the mall, but then you got home and you wore it and you're like, I really don't like this. You don't have to keep things. And that freedom, there's not a moral obligation. Feels so great to just let go of that. Kind of going with that is what I call my insight number 6. Possessing things does not make us successful or happy or important. A lot of media and messages out there try to convince us otherwise, but mainly because they're trying to sell us something. But it all requires mental or physical space in order to accommodate it. And most of us collect more than we have the space to truly use or enjoy or appreciate, all that we have. We just don't have the space to appreciate all we have. And just one recommendation I will make is that you establish a rule for yourself that there are no impulse buys. One of my daughters thought I was saying impulse spies, like they're spying on you. So she said, no impulse buys. But this will change your life. It's totally changed mine. I follow this rule every day. I don't buy anything on impulse. So if I go to a store or I get an email or I see something on an Amazon suggested list or something pops up or someone tells me about it, I let it incubate. I think about it for usually at least 24 hours, sometimes way longer. But unless I know I actually need it, I want it, I have room for it in my life, I'm going to use it, I strongly believe I'll love it. There is some kind of a return policy or something if I don't like it, or, it's minimal enough, it's okay if I don't, then I don't buy it. But that one rule has been so helpful because I know there are a lot of people out there being manipulated day after day after day. You must buy things, you must buy them now. You probably won't even remember what it is if I don't tell you. You may not have the money, but it doesn't matter because it's going to make you beautiful and successful and fabulous. And you're going to be better than your neighbors if you get it. And you're going to feel so important at the end of the day. And you're going to be so proud of yourself for making this decision. And it's this siren song over and over and over again. Now, I do like spending money on things that are worthwhile. I love investing in good things that will improve my life. And I appreciate people out there who are offering products and services that are awesome, that make our lives better, and that can help other people. Love that. But if you can learn that your value does not make you successful or happy or important, or possessing those things doesn't make your value increase. It doesn't make you successful or happy or important. That's going to make a big difference. Okay, page 6. It describes the average kitchen gadget drawer. And I had the best time reading through. This is the first one. They say, okay, let's just talk about simplifying before organizing. And that's the whole point of this book. How to streamline, how to simplify. So they describe the average kitchen drawer and they say, okay, there's probably items in there like random items we never use, broken ones we think we might use someday if the ones that aren't broken are in the dishwasher or something. Like if my 4 spatulas are in the dishwasher randomly and then I need a 5th, well, I might as well keep that broken one that doesn't even have the handle because you kind of use a pot holder to like pick up the edge of it or something. So we keep that nasty spatula that maybe your kids think are the best or something. I don't know, right? Plus, there's duplicates that are given to us by someone else or partial sets or gooey parts to something else that got stuck in the drawer. And I just started thinking back to how I grew up where there were certain junk drawers or gadget drawers I didn't even want to open because they just were so dirty and so gross. And we would just use maybe the top ones that were clean and we wouldn't go any deeper because you were asking for trouble. So as I read that, oh my goodness, I thought they know me. They know my life. And then the book showed us how to discard all the things we don't need, how to put aside a few things for later, like, oh, sharpen those knives and then put them aside because they're not going to belong here, but they'll belong somewhere else later. And I didn't get that for a while. Then I learned I could trust the later pile because as I kept moving, there was space that I started opening up all throughout my house. And then we would put the best items back, but they taught me things like, okay, keep the cords with the appliance that they go to, like in the case of something like a frying pan that has an external cord. Don't put the cord in one place and the frying pan in another place. I don't know why I never even thought of that. Then they would talk about nesting items to save space, or making a list of items that need to be replaced, tossing ones that are gross or that you don't want, being realistic about what you really don't plan to ever use, or tossing anything that, quote, adds to the confusion. Oh my goodness, that was amazing. Permission. Anything that's just adding to the confusion, you don't have to keep it. If you're like, well, I got to keep this random pile of socks because one time we took it to this event and then people liked wearing them. I don't know. Don't keep those if it's just adding to the confusion. We don't need confusion. And then they'd add little containers to group things like rubber bands or things that could get lost otherwise. So an insight number 7, simplifying and being really clear about what you need and what you don't need is a skill. But once you practice and really learn how to keep the best items, you'll feel like your whole life has opened up. And that is what happened to me. I started going drawer by drawer, room by room, getting rid of the broken stereo that I only kept because it had AM, FM, and I didn't have another one in my house. But I never even listened to AM, FM in my house. Why did I need the big broken CD player from when I was 12? Or I even let go of my prom dress because it had this weird rust stain on it. I was never going to wear that prom dress again. I donated that. Someone else could maybe figure out how to get the rust stain out. I don't even know. Maybe I should have donated that one. But I only kept the very best items, and all of a sudden, not only did my space open up, but my life opened up. I started reading more. I started playing the piano. I started serving more. I thought, oh my goodness, I have a life again. I am not a slave to my stuff. Okay, and then one more quote on page 7. It says, after you organize what is left after simplifying, things tend to stay where you've put them. Okay, this was a huge light bulb moment. If you haven't experienced this yet, that's why I want you to do this. Here's my insight number 8. I don't have to keep organizing my house over and over and over and over again. As I learn to simplify, it's amazing to watch what happens. There are no longer homeless items or things like junk drawers or clothes piles or boxes for things like, quote, papers. The storage can be tailored to what I actually keep, and that enables everything to have a home, so I don't pile things up anymore. And I realized this was one of the keys, because what happened growing up is we would clean something, we'd spend 2 hours cleaning, and then within a day or two, everything was just back to being messy because nothing really had a home. And all of our categories were very general, like, oh, the blankets go upstairs by the couch. But then they were all over the couch and everywhere, and we never washed them. It was not great. Or yeah, clothes go in my room. Well, some were draped on my desk chair, and some were on the floor of the closet, and some were on the floor by my bedroom, by my bed. So I had these general categories, like, oh, and any paper my mom needs to sign or needs to see goes on her dresser. Well, there were also 1,500 other papers on her dresser, and so nothing was distinguishable from the other items. So what's happened is as we simplified and then organized, probably the junkiest drawer we have right now is our kitchen scissor drawer. mainly because I don't know what happens, but people tend to throw random things in there. I don't know. No one even admits that they do it. But there is some random little ghost. Like, I don't know if you ever saw Family Circus. They like Nobody or Ida No. They had all these little ghosts that would wreak havoc on the house. So someone will put like a random crayon in our drawer, or a broken rubber band, or a key. We don't know what the key's to. It's just sitting in there. We don't know who put it there or when. Anyway, so that's the closest we have to a junk drawer, but it's fine. Like, I know the scissors go in this one little spot. The tape goes in this little spot. There's markers there. Yes, I could take 5 minutes to kind of tidy it up, but the drawer opens and closes. It feels fine. It's not stressful. So that's what I'm talking about, is I don't have to just keep organizing. Things tend to stay where they go because they actually have homes. And that's one of the things I've noticed in our STEP program as we talk to people and say, oh, well, where does that belong? That's their problem. Well, I don't know where it belongs because I don't have anything organized. So I don't have a home for everything. So that's where it makes so much sense to go room by room by room and start deciding where it goes. And it's not just like, oh, measuring cups go in the kitchen. It's no, they go in the third drawer down, and the drawer is sectioned into 3 parts and it goes in the front section. That's way easier because now anyone in our family who empties the dishwasher, they know that the measuring cups go in the third drawer down in the first section. It's just, that's where it goes. Pot holders are always in the same drawer. Ziploc bags always in the same drawer. The cups and, plates always go in the same spot. And so because we have that throughout the whole house, there's no question. When we say, okay, reset the room, there's no question. Okay, we know where the blankets go. We know where the dishes go. We know where shoes go. We know where backpacks go. That makes it so easy. And especially if you don't have 15 other backpacks that you don't want to throw away because you feel guilty, no, donate them. Figure out how to bless someone else with your abundance. Figure out how to bless yourself with your simplicity, okay? All right, so arisers or future arisers, or if you're listening to this way later, most of the listens to our podcast episodes come way later. It's kind of fun, like maybe 5 to 10%, I think I'm noticing, happen the first day or two. And then most of the rest happen over the next, year. It's fun. So if you're an ariser, this month, April of 2022, we're going to pick one room. We're going to be posting photos in our private Facebook group, walking through the process, reporting back, sharing tips, really helping one another do this. If you have not joined yet, come to learndobecome.com/arise and sign up for your 7-day free trial. And if you are listening way into the future, then come back. You can still join Arise and get access to our archives, and you can check out what we did. And I'm sure there's even more fun stuff going on. Okay. All right. I think I've said enough. My main goal is just to help you to feel that clarity, get out of that overwhelm, feel that excitement. And when you learn to get used to clear space and you learn to streamline naturally, you're going to wake up in the morning and everything's going to feel clean and orderly, and you'll be able to give your attention to those bigger issues going on in your life, in your family's life. And I know there's stuff. Eric and I this morning had some conversations about several things that are going on that we have to deal with, and it's stressful and it's kind of heart-wrenching sometimes, and it's difficult. There's stuff that's going on in the world that is really hard. But the thing is, because my environment literally takes 0 willpower to maintain and doesn't cause any stress or any overwhelm, I can listen, I can counsel with him, I can make decisions, I can sit down and do my work, I can think clearly, I can create my vision boards, I can make phone calls, I can support the people I love, and then I can just have space to even lay down and take a rest. And so if you're spending any time right now overwhelmed by stuff, it's time for that to end. Now our STEP program is what helps you build the command central. That's how you learn how to organize your projects, figure out next actions, really create a system for every idea, email, paper, task, project, all your notes, all the stuff. So the command central, I think, it's an essential for every desk, for every home, every mind. And then Arise is where it's more that group coaching, where we have a very specific goal every month and we work together to accomplish it. So those are our 2 programs. Step is right now, as I'm recording, a one-time deal. You purchase it, you're in it, and then you have lifetime access to it. Arise is our monthly membership. There's also annual options right now. Okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, I'm going to close up. Sending lots of love. Have an amazing day. Get organized. It'll feel so good. All right, see you later. And I'll have everything on the show notes page, learndobecome.com/episode 137. Aren't we having fun? 137. It's amazing. Okay, bye.